The Striblings directed for 30 years, 1 year longer than Reverend Carl Schrader. After nearly 60 years of astonishing theater, it was hard to believe the Loras Players would find another director as dedicated as the previous 3. But in 2000, Doug Donald brought a new approach of theatrical performance to the Loras Players. He stretched their imaginations and made theater a more intimate experience for both the actors and the audience members.
I began in 2000 as the director of theater here at Loras.
The first show that I auditioned for was right the first week of school, and it was Cotton Patch Gospel, which I knew nothing about, but I went there and auditioned, and it was pretty fun, and the group of people looked very interesting.
I jumped right in and auditioned for an original show that was actually written by a Loras graduate called Rutherford B. Hayes the Musical, and was cast as Rutherford B. Hayes in that show.
I was at Loras Players for 2 years, and yeah, it was a really great experience. I did a lot of on-stage and behind-the-scenes stuff, and it was just a lot of fun.
Basically, I didn't leave from my first show until after I graduated. I mean, I'm still coming back. I was just in a show last fall with them, which was great. That, not a lot of people get to come back and do another one last show, one more time, which was awesome.
I really, truly love directing. There's nothing like it. It's so all-encompassing, and I just tremendously enjoy it.
Oh, Doug. He's great. I love him. I mean, when I first got there, I didn't know if he was going to like me or not.
He was great. I mean, really, at first I was unsure because it was just so different from the style I was used to that Doug taught. But as soon as I got used to his style, I just realized that he had so much to teach, and we really learned a lot from him.
The thing that's really interesting about Doug's style is that it's fairly hands-off. I mean, right from the get-go. I mean, he sits down all the students from the previous year, at the end of the year, and says, hey, here's some shows that I'd like to do. This, this, and this, and this, and this. Which ones are you guys interested in doing?
Doug's style is very much let the actor discover blocking for themselves, discover how the lines will be delivered on their own.
I enjoy that sense of discovery and exploration that goes on with the students in this environment.
He let everybody just do what they want. I mean, if it didn't work, he'd let you know. He'd say, no, that doesn't work, please stop. But sometimes it's just like, yeah, you found something new, you went to a different place, I wasn't thinking about it, but you took it to a different place, and it works. Keep it in. I love it.
He really taught me a lot about acting.
He broke into the pet store and let all the animals out. No, that's different. Fish went too crazy.
And beforehand, yeah, I'd been in shows, forever, but when I finally got to Loras, I learned how to act, I think.
Every time he'd teach us a new way to do something, I'd think, okay, I have to remember this so I can use it later, and so I took away a lot from him.
It's amazing how much input and how much sway and how much he listens to your opinion.
He really makes you think about the character. He really makes you get into that character's mind, and it's not just getting up on stage and memorizing your lines and spitting them back out.
He also took it very seriously, which is something that I definitely could relate to. I love a good drama, I love a good comedy, but no matter what it is, it has to be serious for the characters to come through as characters and not as a bunch of people just goofing around.
One thing he always said to me, it's not acting, it's reacting. When you get into a character and get into the show, and that's exactly what it is, because anything could happen on stage and you have to be ready for it. And that's something I learned from Doug for sure.
There was a scene where we had a gun, and I had to shoot the gun up into the air, and then once it made the big loud noise, I was supposed to obviously react to the big noise right by my ear. Well, it was a show, and I shot the gun, and it didn't go off, and yet I still went because I was reacting before the gun even went off, and it was awful.
The thing I enjoy the most about being here is really the students. There are some fantastic students here, and I'm amazed a lot of times at how much time they're willing to spend in this building working on shows when they've got classwork and other activities they're involved in, and yet they rise to the challenge.
I worked for Doug building sets, and that's a lot of fun just because you really get to know him one-on-one, personal level, and we became pretty good friends, I think.
It's a little bit different than that professor-student in the classroom atmosphere. I think in the theater it tends to be a lot more collaborative.
We were able to joke around with each other. It wasn't really a professor-student relationship. It's a friend and he's a director.
Doug really encouraged everyone to do everything. I mean, I did lights, I did sound.
After my freshman year, I was asked to be like assistant theater manager or whatever the heck you want to call it.
I did, behind the scenes, stage managing.
Basically, I was given a key and access to the theater, so I'd come here all the time, and I loved being here.
And I did acting, and I did directing and choreography.
Working and doing shows, it was overall just a huge chunk of my life.
You can do whatever you want to do as long as you show Doug that you're a hard worker and that you're going to do it and put your mind to it. And it's just all around good experience. You can do anything you want to.
Would you like to sit down? I spent 3 hours working on that car.
This isn't just a facility you come in and do the plays and then leave. I think there's a sense, at least I hope there is, that students feel like this is a place that's theirs.
There was such a tight-knit group. Like, I felt like everyone that walked in the door at that audition that day went, "Hey, how are you? How you doing?"
I think the nature of theater really lends itself to building strong relationships with the other actors that you're working with. Some of the shows that I've done here have been really intense, and I'm the type of actor that really likes to dive into a character.
We have those students that come pretty close to living in this space.
The Loras Players was definitely a second home for me. I'm still amazing friends with many of the people that I did shows with.
Being in that tight family unit, you make friends, and they're friends that I still have. Kyle and Stephanie, they live in Hawaii right now, and they're still my great friends from college.
When you spend so much time, 3 hours a night for a couple months sometimes, building these character relationships, you really get to know a lot about a person, an actor, as a person.
I think theater people are a unique group, and I think they're so great.
When you feel that you've added something special to the history of the Loras Players, it's really a real joy. It's very satisfying.
Doug continues to encourage students to get involved in all aspects of theater, resulting in the growth and admiration of the Loras Players. Under his direction, students will continue to take control of the theater, getting opportunities they wouldn't find anywhere else. For the last 70 years, only 4 directors have graced the skirts of that red curtain, opening and closing Shakespearean dramas, whimsical musicals, clever children's shows, and sharing millions of emotions with the audience. Here's to the directors that will lead the Loras Players for the next 100 years.
Executioner, off with his head!
Hi, I'm Captain Randy Rondingo, and I'd like to welcome you aboard the Starship Perseus.
There's nothing else like it.
And sometimes it's just emphasis on a word. Sometimes it's as silly as that.
I do remember one line because I never got it right.
And my line was, "I cannot compete with this religious fanaticism."
The line is, "We've got an ace in the hole."
For the first 3 weeks, it was, "I cannot compete with this religious phantasm."
I would say it, and then I would hear Loretta in the house, "That's not right."
What's that in the road? Ahead?
Phantasm, 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 phantasm!
Wrong. That's not it. Try it again.
And then, yes, thank God. I did not say fanaticism. No, I just said phantasm, not fanaticism!
You've got an ace in the hole. I don't, to this day, I have no idea how I should say it.
Good Lord.
Oh my.
Of course, I never remembered my own lines then, so why would I now?
Well, I was Sabina in The Skin of Our Teeth.
Do what the last person tells you to do.
The luring siren.
I am I, Don Quixote.
Oh my gosh.
Here it is, the 15th of August, and the coldest day of the year. The dogs are sticking to the sidewalks. Can anybody explain that?
The first line I said was, "Gee, Shep, you scared the hell out of me."
For a common man to make love to you is a sin against the gods. Take 'em! The whole world is at 6s and 7s, and why the whole world hasn't fallen down about our ears is a miracle to me.
I was in a show called The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, and I played Will-O-the-Wisp.
Paul was her fiance, was just a sweet, wonderful guy, and she was just kind of nuts and didn't know why he was so perfect.
I was supposed to run on stage all disheveled, run to the center of the stage, look around and say, I fell off the goddamn motorcycle.
So one of my favorite lines is, I can't stand that sweetness, Paul. Nobody human can stand all that everlasting affection.
I was in character, for heaven's sake, and that's what Willow would have said.
It was great.